You are listening to Equip Students Podcast, a ministry of Equip Church. For more information about who we are, visit our website at equipchurch.life or head over to our Instagram page at equipstudents.life.
Well, hello. This is Pastor Miguel at Equip Students, and tonight I'm very excited. We have a guest with us, my buddy. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
My name is Chance Abbott. I am the South Texas Youth Alive missionary, and we are all about students sharing Jesus on the campus of their lives.
I love that. You know, when I was in high school, I was a part of a Youth Alive, and senior, brand new, newly saved, and my friend encouraged me to go to a Youth Alive club. And it really impacted my life. It was a small group, but I remember just what God was doing at those high schools. And I know the value as a youth pastor, having a missionary, having someone that the students can go to and invest in and just really change their campus for Jesus. And so, Chance, I know you've been doing this for how long now?
We're right about 5 years almost.
Come on, that's awesome. 5 years of God doing amazing things. So how did you get involved with Youth Alive?
Well, you know, I've kind of heard about it in the past. I've been in youth ministry now for right about 20 years, and I remember way back to hear you say that you started a club. Like, I remember when I got serious about my faith, it was at camp between my freshman and sophomore year, and I finally had that click moment that when your faith becomes your own, you start to own it. And I went and started a Bible club at my school, but we didn't have Youth Alive, and I was just kind of out there on my own. And just trying to make something work. And so now I love that all these years later, I'm in this role now where I get to help encourage students and equip them and help provide some direction that I really didn't have whenever I started mine as a student. And so I love being able to do that. But a few years ago, I was sitting in a service and I heard a pastor, and he was preaching to a room full of pastors. And he said, there are some pastors here who need to let their staff go be missionaries. And the moment he said that, I knew I was one of those staff members.
Wow.
And I was like, God, where are you going to send me? And immediately God put in my heart to go talk to our, then at that time, our youth directors, Stancil and Jordan Williams.
Come on.
Live.
Shout out to Stancil and Jordan. They're amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. Me and him are actually from the same youth group. So we go way back. And so I've worked with Youth Alive with him. I've done 7 projects with him. I've done school assemblies under my own brand for about a decade. And so I feel like when everything kind of came together, I looked back over my life and I was like, wow, the Lord had been preparing me for this for so long. All of the areas that I'm working in schools, starting clubs.
Wow. And
even though school assemblies aren't our main focus, it is still a part of what we do. And I just have experience in all of those areas, but none of them were all aligned in one group or one organization. And so now getting to work on all of those in something that's established on a national level and getting to run alongside other people that do Youth Alive in other parts of our country has been just a tremendous blessing for me and has really helped me to grow these last few years and to develop so that we can just do a better job of equipping our students to reach their schools.
I love that. You know, I didn't realize how big Youth Alive was until I went to a youth conference, a national youth conference, and seeing all of y'all, I think it was last year on stage, you guys all gathered together, all the different missionaries, and just realizing, wow, like there's really an impact happening in our public schools, in our high schools, in our middle schools throughout this whole country. And it's because of y'all investing in these students. It's a big deal.
We love it. And, you know, we're all Youth Alive missionaries. So we call ourselves YAMs. And
like the fruit yam?
Yeah.
Or the vegetable? Yes.
And so we have this group text called the Yam Fam. And that's really kind of what it is. We're all running this race together. And we've all got a little different way of doing it from one another. But ultimately, my time in being involved with Youth Alive, I've just seen so many quality leaders from across the country that are doing this as effectively as they can in their culture and their dynamic. It's been really encouraging for me. In fact, there are several things that we've picked up along the way from other areas, other states. And one of the things I love is that we share stories. You know, when I share I have a story about a Youth Alive student from Pendle that I share almost as if it's one of ours. I'm like, one of our campus missionaries. And they're not South Texas, but they're a campus missionary and they're a part of Youth Alive, and so they're ours. And
Part of
we
the
have
Yam
these.
fam.
They're part of the Yam fam. We have these shared stories, and we just heard one of the coolest stories we've heard in a long time. Just came out of New Jersey, and so it's just like, but we tell the story, and I do tend to say like, hey, this kid from New Jersey, but I love connecting the dots back to, students. So many times a student of faith feels alone in their school, and they feel like they're the only person of faith in their area, in their school, or in their friend group, or on their team, or in their workplace. They're the only ones of faith, and so just reminding them that there are students like them that are not just in South Texas, but there are kids like them that are in Idaho, and there's kids like them in Oregon, and there's kids like them in the New England area in Maryland, and it's just such a powerful reminder that sometimes we may be alone in our own context, in our own little world, but we're not alone. We're part of something so much bigger than ourselves, and I love that about Youth Alive, is getting to be a part of something just so much bigger than me, so much bigger than even our network is just around 300 churches, but we're part of something that's bigger than that. And I connect to that so much.
And I love just we just came back from National Youth Conference, and being there and seeing a stadium full of young people, and that's not even all of our churches.
Right.
That's just a small portion of the ones that went to Youth Conference this year. It's just so encouraging to know, like, man, there's a big family out there.
Absolutely, and it was powerful. Excuse me. It's powerful when you are seeing all of these students are responding. You have this, they played this video of these students from Oregon that, Portland is one of the places in our nation that is the most, has the most pushback against Christianity. And so they tell this story of these students that started a movement at their school in a place that's very resistant to faith, and the success that they had, and having, I think, around 40 students a week come into their Bible studies. And it's just this incredible and inspiring story. And then you have this room full of thousands of students that are responding to the call to make a difference in their world, on the campus of their lives. And these students from Portland, Oregon, who are standing on the stage in this stadium, and they are praying on the microphone, and they're praying over thousands of students.
It was so cool.
And they're not these big name. It's not like we're flying in some professional prayer.
$10,000
I don't know if that's like a thing.
person.
Yeah.
Like,
here are these high school students
yes,
that followed God and were obedient to God, and they started something that led to a group of 40. And how many churches do we have that run 40 and they feel like it's not enough? And here you have these students on a high school that have a small group that meets up to 40 people. And that story of their faithfulness, their consistency, their passion, their heart to do what God called them to do. That story turns into inspiring thousands of other students around the country. And these kids are flown in to, hey, we want to tell your story, and we want you there when we do it.
It's so
And
good.
It was awesome. And afterwards, it was so cool to watch students go talk to those kids like they were almost celebrities, and like, tell me what you did. And dude, I'm so inspired by you. And it's just, I just absolutely love it. I love connecting with students and leaders that are, they live in a different context, but ultimately we're all doing our best to share Jesus and make a difference. And that's what Youth Alive is all about. We want to, everything that we do, my goal is that I want students to feel inspired and encouraged to share their faith. And a part of that will be part of our conversation tonight, right? That's the end result of the sermons that I try to put together in regards to Youth Alive. My goal, the direction I'm trying to go, is my takeaway. I want students to walk out. I want them to be encouraged, so I try not to beat them up. But I also want them to be inspired. So I do try to push. I do try to challenge and inspire. I want them to feel encouraged and inspired to share Jesus with someone.
So good.
And how we get to that changes, per message, depending on the context, the packaging, depending on obviously the what verses, what portion of scripture we're going to unpack. But ultimately, I'm typically trying to get back to that place of students being inspired and encouraged to share Jesus.
I love that. And you do such a good job at it too. Like,
Thanks,
anyone listening that has a church, you need to have this guy out. He's a phenomenal speaker. Not just that, though, his heart is really there. And so it's so cool and encouraging to hear. I know you have several stories, whether it's our district or other districts, of just students encountering Jesus at their schools and launching clubs. Do you want to share any of those?
Yeah, we actually have a couple of groups that we're working with, students that that came to one of our trainings and then ran from there. They started clubs and through those clubs they've been able to really establish a presence on the school. One in particular is called Bridge the Gap. It's over at Summer Creek High School, and that group was just started by three students that came to one of our trainings, and it turned into a regular gathering of a couple dozen. And then over this summer, now they're going into year 2.
Wow.
And so over the summer, they had this senior gathering point, right? Actually, I'm sorry, they're going into year 3, but they had all the freshmen coming in for the new school year. They're presented all these clubs and all of these extracurriculars, and their club is one of those because they went through the process of becoming an official club.
That's cool.
So here you have a club that runs, I say club, it's a Bible study, right, on a Christian club. And you've got a group that runs, between 20 and 40, give or take, depending on the week. We all know how ministry goes. And but just at that freshman orientation, I believe they got 60 or 70 students that showed interest in joining their club.
Wow.
Coming into high school. And so you just what you start to see is the legacy. Now that the leader of that club has graduated this past May, and so there's a new leader that's now leading this year, and we love to see those handoffs. I know that we had a group that up in the San Antonio area, we had a student that he, through helping with a club, he just kind of got lumped in as other students in his youth group kind of peer pressured him into joining. And so he did. He joined the club and he started.
Good peer pressure.
Yeah. Through them pressuring him into being a part and leading, out of that, this young man had a realization that he was called to ministry.
Wow.
And we got to work with him at one of our called events for students that feel that direction, and that was really powerful. And one other story I'd love to just share here.
Yeah, go for it.
This is that story I was saying, coming fresh out of New Jersey, right? So there is a homeschool kid. We work a lot with that too, and a lot of people think that's why we always use the terminology campus of your life, right? Because some kids, the campus of their life is the school campus, but some kids it's not. And so where do you have influence? Well, there's a homeschool kid up in New Jersey that felt like God was calling him to reach his friends or reach people around him, but he didn't know where to start. He's a homeschool kid. He's not in a co-op. He doesn't have a bunch of kids in his neighborhood, and all of his friends are his youth group friends. So he's like, man, I don't know what to do. And he was encouraged to pray and ask God for creativity. And I love it. Pray and ask God for creativity. So he does. He prays and he asks God God, would you give me creativity and what to do next?
Yes.
And so this kid ends up going, he's a Minecraft player.
Come on.
And he spends over 100 hours building his church in Minecraft. And why he felt he needed to build his, I don't understand.
So his actual church that he attends on Sundays.
Why not just build it? Why not build it just a chapel, or I don't know.
It's so creative.
But he spent over 100 hours building a replica of his church, his real world church in Minecraft, and then he started hosting Friday night devotionals digitally.
Wow.
In Minecraft. And at first it was just him and his brother, but this young man has had up to 20 people, 20 kids that have logged into Minecraft, went to his server. They go walking through the digital doors of his church, and he does a devotional and prays over them. And that's how he's reaching people. And I'm blown away by the creativity. I'm blown away by his willingness to put all that work in. Mm-hmm. And but just it's a unique way to reach a unique generation, and I'm so inspired by it.
Yeah.
And so I love it, and he's part of the Yam Fam.
And I think that's so cool because those 20 people that are coming, or however many more people are coming now, who else is going to reach them?
Oh, yeah.
Those individuals, the gamers, the people, they may never walk through a real church, but they get to walk through his legit church replica,
Yeah.
which is just amazing, and experience Jesus. Because at the end of the day, that's what it's about, the kingdom, experiencing Jesus.
Absolutely.
And the students given the opportunity to lead people to Jesus.
I love it. Jesus
love it.
met people at a well, and I guess he'll meet them on a server too. You know, it's
Yes.
pretty wild, isn't it?
It'd be funny if his church was called The Well. Even better.
That would be pretty
Yes.
awesome.
Well, Chance, thank you so much. This has been really fun. Before we go, can you tell us just different ways students can get involved with Youth Alive, and maybe some different kind of clubs and different opportunities they have to serve?
Absolutely. So again, we're all about students sharing Jesus, and that's our primary, and it's the campus of your life. So we have students that want to start a traditional club, and we call those movements because we've expanded beyond just the traditional club. So if a student wants to start an officially recognized club, we provide trainings and things like that for that. They can connect with us through social media is probably the best way. Instagram, STX Youth Alive is one of the best ways for students to contact us. And we have trainings like the one we're going to do today with some of your students and ones we have coming up soon. But we'll train them on how to start an official club. How do you go through the process with your principal? You know, what are some of the legal aspects of that? Like if you have pushback, like what's the, equal access and things like that. But we also have groups like prayer groups. We really encourage students to start there. It's like see you at the pole, but instead of once a year, it's every week, and which is awesome.
Yeah.
There are students that are doing the equivalent of see you at the pole every week,
I love that.
and that's just powerful. And we also have what we call huddles, and huddles are like non-recognized clubs, so to speak. You don't have to have permission to do a huddle. You just have 5 friends sitting around reading their Bible and reaching the people around them, and it's not officially recognized, and that really works well in places that you're dealing with maybe pushback, or sometimes administrations will make the process so long that students will kind of give up. So a huddle is a great place to start. We also have things for online schools, homeschool students, and things like that. We encourage students, we ask them to become what we call campus missionaries, where they say, I'm the missionary, and that campus, that sports team, that workplace, that internet server, whatever it is, that's my mission field, and take ownership of that.
I love that. It's so good. I think it's so cool how anyone that wants to do a club can do a club. And you guys provide the resources to help them with that, whether they want to do the prayer, they want to do a huddle, they want to go official and get with the administration to make that happen. It's such a great opportunity. And so, Chance, thank you so much for hopping on this podcast today. I'm excited to hear. We have to share. We have a training right now with some of our leaders coming in to launch clubs at Equip Church. And then also we have him speaking tonight. And so that podcast will be on after this one of just what he's sharing tonight. But Chance, thank you so much for joining us. Before you go, can you please just give us your social media handle one last time so people can get in contact with you?
Absolutely, and I appreciate you bringing me out and let me be a part. And man, you have some incredible students here, and so I'm so excited to get to work with them on launching their clubs.
Yeah, they're fun.
For social media, we are STX Youth Alive on Instagram and Facebook. My personal social media, I go by Abbott Chance. And that is on Facebook, Instagram. I'm on X again. I left Twitter for a while. It was an angry place.
Yes.
But I did recently go back. And then I even do Be Real, which is something very trendy with students. And so,
Yes.
and on all of those, my handle is at Abbott Chance, ABBOTT Chance.
You are listening to Equip Students Podcast, a ministry of Equip Church. For more information about who we are, visit our website at equipchurch.life or head over to our Instagram page at equipstudents.life.